Happy time, my damies, Topgate here and welcome back to the channel. We have once again found ourselves in a dreaded auto rifle meta, so my immediate response was just to tuck tail and outrange. And the scout I chose was the Fang of Ir Yut. In the first game I equipped this, I got me we ran out of medals, shortly followed by another. A match later I had another, and before I knew it, over the course of the session I had many more. I've always liked rapid fire scouties, but the Ir Yut stands above all the rest. Now you don't have to be a scout main. Even the best of you out there have a couple of favourites you might bust out on larger maps like Fortress or Eternity. Whether I was dueling a Jade Rabbit, a Mida Multi-Tool or a Dead Man's Tale, the best of the best, I was still winning. Even on tighter maps like Burnout and Meltdown, I was still doing really well. Across 15 plus games, I would get a minimum of 30 kills and as much as 50. Now before we get into the weapon, I'd like to remind you to hit that thumbs at any point and sub if you're new. That said, I first want to balance our stats. Now rapid fire scouts want a good recoil like all weapons do, but I find it more crucial on these as these empty rounds so fast, and we're often scoped in and looking at a Guardian's melon way across the map, so we require pixel perfect accuracy. Scout rifles are the king of the jungle when it comes to range, and the only thing they need to really range is other scout rifles. So the range stat is of little concern to me. With a base recoil of 49, we want to use arrowhead break, upping us to 79. Then smack on a counterbalance mod to further centralize to 94 recoil. Another great benefit of Arrowhead is that 10 handling, as these tend to be one of the worst stats on rapid fire scouts. You could go a handling masterwork also to increase it further, but I found a dexterity mod on your gauntlets was sufficient. This will free up some space for our ideal masterwork, which is stability. For the mag, I like ricochet rounds, not for its properties, but for that plus 5 range and plus 10 stability. This brings our total range before drop off to 71 meters aimed down sights and 35 meters at the hip. With 64 stability, this will help us keep that bullet grouping nice and tight, but it'll also help us battle flinch as a torrent of prosecutors bear down on you. For our left-hand column perks, shoot to loot may be strong in PvE, but not so much in Crucible. Tunnel vision would also be a good option if you decide to pair it with kill clip. Surplus in previous sandboxes offered us stat bumps, giving us 25 stability, 60 handling, and 60 reload if we had all three of our charged abilities. These stats diminish as we have uncharged abilities, and herein lies the problem. Patch 7.3.5 saw a diminish in ability charge rate across the board. So I won't really be using this perk anytime soon, whether it be on the scout rifle or other weapons. With Killing Wind we see similar stat buffs giving us 50 mobility, handling and 20 range. And whilst the handling bonus was nice, I found it wasn't really maximizing the mobility buff, as it's active for 5.5 seconds, most of which is spent aimed down sights and down range. Keep away generally is a good perk, but I found it kind of meh here on the scout. Rapid hit was really the best in slot. Rapid precision hits temporarily increase stability and reload substantially. This grants us 1 stack of rapid hit per precision hit, improving reload speed and stability for 2 seconds. Further hits refresh this duration. This starts at 2, then 12, 14, 18 and maxes out at 25 stability. This makes dueling very tasty even whilst under fire. It massively buffs our reload speed, topping out at plus 60 reload. Most kills require 3 to 4 precision hits, so you'll have a minimum of plus 35 reload. Now in the right hand column we've got 6 damage perks to pick from. Being a Australian weapon, we do have Hatchling. I tend to think of this more as a PvE perk myself, but it could suit some Warlock and Hunter builds. At base, the Scout has a 0.993 time to kill. This is 4 crits and 1 body on Guardians with tier 8 through tier 10 resilience. And 7 and below, this can kill in 3 crits and 2 bodies. Precision Instruments damage buff increases on crit hits, starting at 4%, then 8, 12, 16, 21, and maxing out at 25%. Unfortunately, even after landing 3 crits, it's not enough to jump that to the 4th bullet. Instead, this will help stave off range drop-off by approximately 4 meters. Now, all 4 remaining perks are capable of getting you that 4 bullet 0.7 TTK. Kill clip is a classic. Kill and reload within 3 and a bit seconds, and for 5 seconds we have a 25% damage bonus. This is now 67 per crit, giving us a 3 crit and 1 body kill. This is the easiest 3 crit 1 body that we have. Golden's Tricorn's buff is 15% after a kill, but it doesn't require that reload. But if we slot in an ability kill afterwards, this next bullet jumps to a 50% buff, earning us a 3 crit kill. That said, the reality is, whilst you may get the odd montage moment, it's best just to treat it as a 15% buff for that 4 crit kill at a 0.7 TTK. Knowing this, you're not really going to be using it, as we have sword logic, and this is pretty much a jazzed up version of Golden Tricorn, just swapping out killing Guardians and Supers for those ability kills. This offers us a base damage buff of 20%, giving us that same 4 crit kill. The hit points between Tricorn's 15 and Logic's 20% are minor. Head to head, all these are really going to do is afford us an extra meter in terms of range drop off. That said, when we've got a team shooting situation here, who's to say lives or dies is often measured by a mere handful of those points, so sword logic wins out. This was my perk of choice. It worked really well in PvE and Gambit too, but the reason I've chosen to do this review now is because of a sudden uprise of auto rifles. Hand cannons have slipped back in range, or have rather been range checked. ARs like the Prosecutor, Ammit, and Breakneck are absolutely destroying in the Crucible at the moment. So my Fang of Ir Yut can outrange all of these. At base, these ARs have a 0.86 TTK, so I've opted to craft my Ir Yut with high ground. This gives me that same 0.7 TTK as Kill Clip, Sword Logic, and Tricorn, except I don't need a kill to activate it. It's a 4 crit kill, and with rapid hit you'll be absolutely popping grapes. It's a 10% buff. Now that might not seem like a lot, but that's all we need to go from a 4 crit 1 body to a 4 crit against a tier 10 resilience guardian. Now we do need to be at least 2 meters above our opponent. Like GG says it's 1, it's wrong, and this perk is not active whilst you are airborne. It might seem novel at first, but Bungie has always built really great elevation into their maps. I thought at first it would change my playstyle a bit, but it didn't. Scouts are often just pitched up in a section of the map, just controlling a quadrant. I really did enjoy using the Knucklehead radar on my hunter. This way I can keep aware of my surroundings whilst I'm aimed down sights, ready for that kill. As the sooner I can sight them, the sooner I can kill them before they get in range with that AR. You can still be really mobile with it. And with high ground and like thinking about map dynamics, I actually learned some new sightlines that I'd never known about before. And even with a gold roll Prosecutor with like gut shot target lock, my 0.7 TTK isn't that far off its 0.67 TTK. Except I've got the range to keep them at bay. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. Make sure to like it if you liked it, sub if you're new, and as always, tippy tie my damies, what a tie.